Today we will look at some more features of the same. Am I audible? Can somebody just prompt me? Am I
Yes, ma'am.
audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
All right. So let's have a look at the party system as we understand it. So basically, uh, you know, there are a number of, see, American politics is very active, very democratic, very, you know, people are very, it's very participative as well, very interactive, very participative. There are a number of groups that are, you know, involved in American politics. So basically, it's a huge happening democracy, participative democracy. And you have the Democrats and the Republicans who have basically dominated the scene, two parties, okay, which have basically dominated the scene without there haven't been any serious rivals, okay. There were third party movements. Even today there are many minor parties, but basically we therefore, see that there are basically only two parties which are operating in the American political system. Though it is a very diverse country, it's a very diverse nation, a diverse country. We would expect, like in India, we have a multi party system. We would expect even American politics to throw up a number of parties. Okay. However, what happens is that whatever differences are there, they are covered by these two parties. Okay. Now, yesterday we had discussed how in American politics there is a strict separation of powers. Therefore, the Congress and the presidency at they're totally separate. There is no common meeting ground between them as we have in India, as we have in UK. So then, in such a scenario, the role of the party becomes quite significant. Okay. So, what is the role of the party there? The party is, in a sense, a link between the Congress and the presidency. Okay. So, how does that happen? How that happens is that within parties, you have wings. Okay. So, you will have a presidential wing and a congressional wing. Okay. Because of this institutional division which we have between the Congress and the presidency, this is reflected even in the political parties. Okay. So, I mean, there are no precise lines, but there are a number of people who are working in these two wings, and you have a number of people who cross over, work across these two wings also. However, this is the way that the two parties operate. Okay. So let's try and further understand these two parties. Let us, and that will also invariably bring us into a discussion of the ideological content of American politics. Okay. So we saw how basically it is a two-party system. And when you talk about ideologies, then clearly you have certain ideologies are very clearly defined. For example, socialism, communism, fascism, nationalism. You know that these are clearly ideologies. And then you also know if there is a different ideology, you know how it is different. You can, chart out, structure out their differences. Okay. However, in America, fundamentally the ideology is of Western liberalism, okay, Western liberal democracy, and so across both the parties, you will see certain reflections of Western liberal democracies, and then within that, you will see differences. You will see polarization of ideas. Okay, so in a sense, you see a consensual basis in American politics. Okay, so what are the differences over? Okay, so in a sense, many people have said that because of this all covering influence of Western liberal democratic ideas, that there is no substantial difference between Democrats and Republicans. However, Republicans are more, in a sense, wedded to the idea of American, they're wedded to the idea of America first, bring back America. So that traditional conservative attitude towards identity can be seen in the Republican Party. Okay. What more? What more? That cannot be the only difference. Okay. So again, if you look at economic policies, then economic policies are a very huge indicator of ideology of what a party may be thinking of in terms of its ideas. Okay. So it's interesting to look at what Democrats and Republicans think about economic issues. Again, in the recent times, the Republican parties have been more concerned with. Just give me a minute. There's somebody at the door. Just give me a minute. Is there a record? Is there a recording going on? Can you just pause it for 2 minutes? Please pause it.